So you know that Ollama AI allows you to run large language models on your local machine. So maybe you have been running these powerful LLMs like Mistral, Llama 2, Gemma, Lava, etc. And now you want to share them with your colleagues or friends, or maybe you want to create some app that needs to access these locally hosted LLMs via Web API. Now, when you install Ollama, it automatically spins up a Web API in the local host. Let me show you. Just a quick note, if you want a getting started guide on Ollama, then do check out my video on that. So I have Ollama running. If I go to localhost 11.434, which is the default, I can see that it says Ollama is running. And if I open up Thunder Client on VS Code, you can use Postman also. I'll send a post request to localhost 11.434/generate/API, and I'll get LLM responses back. So how do we make it public and why that may not be a good idea always? Short answer, we are going to use the much popular tunneling tool ngrok for this. So we have Ollama running on our local machine, and we'll install ngrok on local machine. That creates a public URL which simply forwards the requests to the locally hosted port. To set it up, we'll head over to ngrok website. Now, depending upon the operating system, you have different ways of installing the client. I have a Mac, and you can download the zip, but I'm going to use the brew command to install the ngrok client. It's going to take some time. To be able to use this client, however, we'll have to register with ngrok and create an authentication token. Now, this authentication token has nothing to do with authenticating requests that come to your web API. This auth token is required by ngrok to provide their service of creating public URLs and forwarding those requests to the localhost port using their on-desktop client, which we just installed. Authenticating requests on your own web API should predominantly be implemented by you in this case. Although ngrok comes with some basic auth and OAuth implementations, which we will not get into in this video, although I'll leave a link to that documentation under the video if you wish to use that feature. On the ngrok website, you can click sign up and sign up using email. I have already signed up, so I'll sign in. And here you will get your auth token. I'll quickly go to the pricing section, and you can see they have options for developers with some limitations. You can also choose a pay-as-you-go pricing if you have a use case for that. So back in my dashboard, I'll just copy this command along with my auth token and run it on my terminal. And it is going to show the YAML file where it stores the auth token. This authenticates the ngrok desktop client to the ngrok cloud service. Now, all there is left to do is run ngrok http 11.434, since that is the localhost port on which Ollama's web API is listening to. It creates a HTTPS secure public URL that you can share publicly, and all requests made to this URL will be forwarded to your localhost 11.434. Now, one thing to note is that every time you restart ngrok client, this public URL is going to change. To fix this, we'll head over to ngrok website, and here it will show something like claim your free public domain or something like that. If you click on that, it will give you a generic URL which will be fixed for you. So once you share it with people and restart your ngrok client time and again, they will still be able to use the same URL to access locally hosted web API that is on your machine. Now, why is that a bad thing? Well, there are websites that crawl the internet to find open ports, and with a bit of searching, you can find a lot of accessible GPUs. Now, if you're a proponent of torrenting, then this sounds like torrenting for LLMs to you. Only that you own the GPU that you are sharing. Probably we are not far from the future where we'll be accessing freely available peer-hosted GPUs using tools like Ollama. But for now, if you don't want to overexploit your GPU, then you might want to be cautious about when you leave the client open and keep a tab on the incoming requests using the terminal window.